The finals has some of the most interesting sandbox physics in an FPS game. Today, I'm pushing the limits by testing myths from you guys in the comments, from finding the secret 7th vault, to even toppling skyscrapers with goo. We got a lot to cover in this video. Today I'm bringing y'all a new myth busting series where I test the things you guys comment below. Comment any myths you want busted below to be featured in next week's episode. Let's dive right into this. We got some insane myths for our first episode. First myth of the series is from Ali T, who says 22k is the highest a vault can be worth. Now, for those who don't know, the first two vaults are always worth 10,000 each, and then vaults 3 and 4 are worth 15,000 each, and then vaults 5 and 6 are 22,000 each. In almost every game, by the time a 5th or 6th vault is active or played, it's overtime and it's too late for any more vaults to spawn after. But what if you were fast enough to complete the 5th and 6th vault before overtime? He's asking if a vault 7 would spawn in, and how much would it even be worth? When I first read this, my initial thought was the 7th vault would be worth over 30,000. The vaults increase by around 50% each time, so it only makes sense if the next one scales the same, right? Well, let's hop into a game and see if we can speedrun the vaults to potentially spawn in Vault 7. Alright, so we're inserting Vault 5 into the cash out started with Vault 4. And after we finish this cash out, hypothetically, Vault 6 and 7 should spawn in. Alright, the cash out is about to finish, so let's see if Vault 7 spawns. Come on. We got Vault 6 and Vault 1. Let's activate it and see how much it's worth. You guys think it'll reset back to 10k? And 22,000, so it doesn't reset back to 10k, even though it's Vault 1, but it also caps at 22,000. Even though you'll probably never get the 7th vault in your ranked games, it's still interesting to see what happens after the 5th and 6th vaults. So Ali T's myth is confirmed, 22k is the highest possible vault. Moving on to our second myth brought by Josh Norris, who asks, can you kill someone with the Defibs? Everyone knows the medium class's Defib is one of the strongest gadgets in the game, most commonly used to instantly revive a dead teammate. But let's head into the practice range and see if we can deal any damage to enemies with them. Alright, here we are in the practice range, a pretty simple thing to test. Let's just pull out our Defibs and boom! There you have it, does deal damage. It looks like it's maybe 50 damage points for one hit. Now, let's jump into a game and see if we can get a kill with the Defib. Alright, let's go for this, let's go for this. Come on, sit still. Yes! So, Josh Norris's myth is confirmed. You can kill someone with the Defib. Our third myth today is from Fusion, who asks, can the Flamethrower put out gas? Now, this one sounds pretty boring and obvious on paper, but I think there's some interesting interactions we can at least test and set the record straight here. Alright, so most people know things like the orange barrels and pyro nades put out the poison gas pretty easily, but let's check if the Flamethrower does too, because to be honest, I've never used the Flamethrower myself or played with someone using it against gas. Who knows, maybe it's a slept-on weapon for the heavy class. Anyway, here we have our poison gas, and let's just shoot the Flamethrower, and yes, it does clear the gas. Something I want to test while we're here is if we have poison on the second floor, can we put it out with the Flamethrower or other methods from the floor below? So let's throw a gas grenade again and hop to the floor below. And yes, you can clear the poison from the floor below with a Flamethrower. And I'm assuming this will also work with the pyro grenade and mines, but let's just double check here quick. Throw a gas grenade, go downstairs, get out our pyro grenade, and yep, clears it the same. Definitely could be useful in-game to clear a cache out covered in gas or clear an area you're trying to get to. Maybe you could also use this to help teammates on floors above you. Regardless, pretty cool trick. Glad we confirmed this myth. The Flamethrower can be used to put out the gas. Next myth for today is by Ali T again, asking, can heavies squeeze through the square holes or vents that lights and mediums can? Alright, so let's hop into practice range first and try and see if we can squeeze through any way possible. Alright guys, I'm trying different ways here and I'm not having any luck. Maybe if we strafe a certain way or get the perfect angle, but no success so far. As of now, in the standard vent here, in the practice range, it does not seem possible, but maybe we can get it to work in a match. Alright guys, I tried as many of the vents and holes as I could for hours, and no luck until I found this sucker right here. Watch this, guys. This is absolutely insane. For some reason, you are able to just barely squeeze through this specific hole in Monaco by the construction. It appears the ground leading into the hole is slightly lower, and maybe that allows this to happen. But there are multiple other holes I found that looked very similar, and I had zero luck with those, so I am not sure what's going on here. But I thought this was absolutely hilarious, and definitely could be useful for a sneaky quick escape or something in a ranked game. But one last thing I wanted to show you guys is this clip I also got while the suspended structures were collapsing. I managed to just crawl through this regular hole effortlessly because it was angled a certain way, and I thought it was funny and worth showing. So maybe this works with other holes as well. Please let me know in the comments if there's any other vents or crevices that heavies can squeeze through that I'm missing. But for now, I'm going to say this myth is busted and heavies cannot squeeze through the regular holes. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong or if you think this myth isn't busted. I'm a little unsure, but the fact it worked on even one hole is pretty insane and sick to me. On to our next myth by Beast asking, can you topple buildings using goo? So this one seems pretty obvious since on a normal building, shooting goo at it does not seem to cause any destruction. But what I want to test is if we first destroy part of the building and then use the goo, can we amplify that damage? Okay, so we are definitely causing some damage with the goo, but I think this isn't on a big enough scale in the practice range to classify as toppling buildings. So let's hop into a match with Fusion and run some double heavy and see what's possible. Okay, Editor Tony here. The stuff you're about to see is insane, and my live reactions were way too loud and inaudible to contribute to the video. So let me just play a couple clips for y'all. I was just laughing so hard when this was happening. So I just want you guys to see this for yourselves. This was just too insane to try and describe or react to live. These findings were absolutely unreal and just flat out hilarious. This is by far the most insane thing I have ever seen in the finals. I could not stop laughing and still think this is hilarious. So there you have it. You not only can topple buildings, but you can literally send them flying off the map using the goo. I am definitely going to have to mess with this more in the future. This was some of the most fun and chaos I've had on the finals. I just love how much of a sandbox this game is, but I don't know. You guys have to let me know if you think this one goes too far. But as far as I'm concerned, the myth is definitely confirmed. Goo absolutely can topple buildings. And for our last myth of our first episode, we're going back to Fusion, who asks, if you play as a heavy, can you block enemy heal beams with your dome or shield? So let's hop into a game and see if we can find a dome stranded somewhere that we can mess with. All right, we found a dome here. Let's see what happens when our teammate walks into the dome while getting healed. Well, yes, it does cancel the line of sight from the heal beam and stops you from healing through it. It appears if your teammate walks behind a shield while the heal beam is already on them, it will last a second before going away. But this is just how it works in general with losing line of sight or range, I believe. It also seems you cannot lock onto a teammate for healing at all if their line of sight is blocked by the dome or the shield. Definitely an interesting myth. We confirmed that heavies can indeed block enemy heal beams with their shields. Thanks all for stopping by. I had way more fun than I thought I would testing some of these out. Be sure to comment below your myths you want tested to be featured in next week's episode. If you guys want to see top 500 gameplay or watch me test myths live in the future, I stream on YouTube and Twitch. Those links will be below. But that's all I got for you guys. I will see you next Myth Busting Monday.